He was just a kid walking home from school, his shoes worn thin, his backpack nearly falling apart. He had no idea that a single act of kindness, one simple decision, would put him face to face with a man whose world was the complete opposite of his own. A broken-down car, a stranger in need, and a choice that would reveal not only the strength of his heart, but also the deep prejudice still alive in plain sight. What happened that day didn't just change his life. It exposed a truth that can't be ignored. 12-year-old Marcus lived in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town. His family didn't have much. His mother worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table, and his father, once full of dreams, had been beaten down by years of rejection and discrimination in the workforce. Still, Marcus carried a spark inside him, a kind of optimism his mother often reminded him to hold on to, no matter how tough things got. Each day after school, Marcus walked the long stretch of road back to their small apartment. He usually kept his eyes down, clutching his backpack straps as cars rushed by. Most drivers never noticed him. To them, he was just another kid, someone invisible. But on this particular afternoon, something caught his attention. Just a few yards ahead, on the side of the road, a sleek black luxury car sat with its hazard lights flashing. A man in a sharp suit stood outside, glaring at the flat tire as though it had personally offended him. His expensive watch glinted in the fading sunlight. It was the kind of car Marcus had only ever seen in magazines. Most people would have walked past. What did a poor kid know about fixing cars? But Marcus, raised by a mother who taught him the value of kindness even when the world wasn't kind to them, stopped. He noticed the frustration in the man's face, the helpless way he checked his phone for signal in a dead zone. And though Marcus had nothing to offer but his willingness, he felt a pull to help. That single decision, to step forward, would set off a chain of events that neither of them could have imagined. Marcus approached cautiously, aware of the way people sometimes looked at him, like he didn't belong. "Sir, do you need help?" His voice was quiet but steady. The man glanced at him, surprised. For a moment his eyes narrowed, as if he couldn't believe this skinny boy in a fraying jacket had anything useful to offer. But the silence stretched, and Marcus gestured toward the tire. "I can help change it. My uncle showed me once." Reluctantly, the man agreed. Marcus rolled up his sleeves, his small hands working with determination. The bolts were stiff, the tire heavy, but he pushed through, sweat dripping down his forehead. All the while, the man stood by, arms crossed, impatience written all over his face. Finally, after what felt like forever, Marcus finished tightening the last lug nut. He stood up, wiping his hands on his jeans. "There, you should be good now." The man didn't thank him. Not at first. Instead, he gave Marcus a long look, half suspicion, half disbelief. Then he reached into his pocket, pulled out a crisp bill, and shoved it toward him. "Here, for your trouble." Marcus froze. Something about the gesture didn't feel right. The money wasn't the problem. It was the way it was given, like tossing scraps to someone assumed to be desperate. With quiet dignity, Marcus shook his head. "No, thank you. I just wanted to help." The man blinked, surprised again. But before he could respond, another car slowed on the road. A police cruiser. The officer rolled down his window, eyes darting from the luxury car to Marcus. His hand rested near his holster. "Everything okay here?" The tension snapped into the air like static. Marcus's stomach dropped. He had seen enough news stories to know how this could go. He had been warned, again and again, about being careful, about not making sudden moves, about how quickly things could spiral when someone like him was seen as a threat. The man in the suit hesitated, then nodded stiffly. "Yes, officer. Just a flat tire." He was helping. But the officer didn't look convinced. His gaze lingered on Marcus, suspicion etched into every line of his face. The boy's heart pounded as the silence dragged on. Would kindness turn into something far darker? The officer stepped out of his car, boots crunching on gravel. He circled Marcus slowly, as though waiting for him to slip up. "Helping, huh?" His tone dripped with doubt. "What's in the bag?" Marcus froze. It was just his school backpack, filled with books, pencils, and the sandwiches Mom had packed. But he knew that didn't matter. In moments like this, truth often didn't stand a chance against assumption. The man in the suit shifted uncomfortably. For the first time, he seemed to realize what was happening. He cleared his throat. "Officer, really, it's fine. The boy helped me. That's all." But the officer didn't back off. He ordered Marcus to open the bag, to step aside, to answer questions that cut deeper than they should have. Marcus's hands trembled as he unzipped his backpack, pulling out his textbooks one by one. Each item was scrutinized, as if somehow a science book could be twisted into evidence against him. Tears stung his eyes, but he bit them back. He had done nothing wrong. All he had done was help. Finally, the man in the suit stepped forward, his voice stronger this time. "Enough. He's telling the truth. He fixed my tire. If anyone deserves suspicion, it's me, for not knowing how to do it myself." For a tense moment, the officer stared at them both, the air so heavy it seemed to press down on Marcus's chest. Then, reluctantly, he backed away, muttering something under his breath before returning to his cruiser. The sound of the engine faded down the road, leaving silence in its place. Marcus stood there, shaking, the weight of what had almost happened sinking in. And for the first time, the man in the suit looked at him not with suspicion, but with something else, something closer to respect. The man adjusted his tie, his voice quieter now. "I didn't thank you properly. You didn't just fix my tire. You saved me from waiting for hours, and maybe even worse. I'm sorry I doubted you." Marcus didn't know what to say. He simply nodded, gripping the straps of his backpack tighter. But then something unexpected happened. The man handed him a business card. "If you ever need anything, call me." Marcus tucked it away without much thought. To him, it was just a piece of paper. But what he didn't realize then was that the man was more than just wealthy. He was powerful. And that small moment of kindness, in a world that tried to twist it into something dangerous, would eventually open doors Marcus had never dreamed of. As he walked home that evening, the sun dipping below the horizon, Marcus replayed everything in his mind. The kindness he had given, the fear he had felt, and the injustice that had nearly turned his good deed into tragedy. This wasn't just his story. It was the story of countless others who live with the same weight on their shoulders every day. The fear of being misunderstood, the reality of being judged before being known, and yet Marcus's choice to help, to stand tall even in the face of suspicion, carried a powerful reminder. Humanity is still built in small acts of kindness, even when the world tries to drown them in prejudice. So, I'll leave you with this. How many more times must stories like Marcus's repeat before kindness is seen for what it truly is, without suspicion, without fear? If this story moved you, share it. Talk about it. And if you believe more people need to hear stories like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Because every story we tell keeps the conversation alive, and maybe one day, it changes the ending for someone else.